I want you to rest well, and a month from now, this Hollywood big shot's gonna give you what you want.
It's too late. They start shooting in a week.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
The Godfather is an iconic 1972 epic film directed by Francis Ford Coppola that is considered one of the greatest films of all time. This movie tells the story of the fictional Corleone crime family, led by boss Don Vito Corleone, played by actor Marlon Brando, and involving his two sons, oldest son hot-tempered Santino Sonny Corleone, played by James Caan, and middle son, soft and far less savvy Fredo Corleone, played by John Cazale. They used the Genco Olive Oil Company as a front for their activities. Taking place right after the end of World War II in the fall of 1945, the youngest son, college-educated Marine Michael Corleone, played by Al Pacino, arrives home to New York with his girlfriend Kay Adams, played by Diane Keaton. The two attend the wedding of sister Connie Corleone, played by Talia Shire, and her husband Carlo Rizzi, played by Gianni Russo. Many guests attend, including those who wish to ask Don Corleone for favors, as he meets with them in his office, alongside his consigliere, lawyer, and informally adopted son Tom Hagen, played by Robert Duvall. As Christmas 1945 approaches, a heroin kingpin named Virgil the Turk Sollozzo, played by Al Lettieri, asks Vito Corleone to invest in his heroin operation.
Why do you come to me? Why do I deserve this generosity?
If you consider $1 million in cash, just finance. De salud, Corleone.
After Vito declines, Sollozzo has his men kill Vito's personal enforcer, Luca Brasi, played by Lenny Montana, and then go after Don Corleone himself. Surviving the assassination attempt, Michael tends to his father at a hospital, where the police on Sollozzo's payroll have been removed, and another attempt on his father's life is imminent.
You and I are going to move my father to another room. Now, can you disconnect those tubes so we can move the bed out?
That's out of the question.
You know my father. The men are coming here to kill him. You understand? Now help me, please.
Michael comes face to face with the corrupt New York City police captain McCluskey, played by actor Sterling Hayden.
What's the Turk paying you to set up my father, Captain?
Take a hold of him. Stand him up. Stand him up straight.
Michael decides to enter the family business by killing both Sollozzo and McCluskey and hiding out in Sicily as a mob war breaks out between the various families.
Non ne stai andando così lontano da casa. Lo sai che sono responsabile io della tua vita con tuo padre, no?
Ci sono calmo, Fabrizio.
Ma non basta, lo stesso, è pericoloso. I nostri amici di New York hanno avvertito Santino. Sembra che i vostri nemici lo sanno che tu sei qua.
Santino ti disse quando potrà tornare?
No, ma non è cosa per ora. E per ora non se ne parla, più tardi casomai.
Grazie.
While in Sicily, Michael meets a beautiful Italian girl named Apollonia Vitelli, played by Simonetta Stefanelli. As the mob war escalates and Michael returns to New York, he begins to take more and more of a leadership role in the family business that he originally had no intention of getting involved in. This film was directed by Francis Ford Coppola and was based off of Mario Puzo's 1969 novel of the same name. Mario Puzo modeled the character of Don Vito Corleone on New York City mob bosses Joe Profaci and Vito Genovese. Many of the events in his novel are based on actual events that occurred within those mob families. Filming took place during 62 days from March to May of 1971. For the role of Vito Corleone, Orson Welles lobbied hard to get the part. For the role of Michael, Martin Sheen and Dean Stockwell auditioned. Rod Steiger was interested in the part, but he was too old for it. Warren Beatty, Jack Nicholson, and Dustin Hoffman were all offered the role and declined. Robert Redford, James Caan, and Ryan O'Neal were also considered for the role. Robert De Niro screen tested for both the roles of Sonny and Michael. For the role of Sonny, Anthony Perkins auditioned. Burt Reynolds was also considered for the role, but there was a rumor that Marlon Brando refused to work with him, considering him a second-rate actor. There was supposedly animosity going back to when Burt Reynolds did an episode of The Twilight Zone years before, in which he spoofed Marlon Brando's persona.
What's the question? Exactly. What is the question? I mean, like any slob can walk through a door. I mean, like I do it every day. But, well, now, maybe I shouldn't walk through the door at that moment. Would I walk through that door? It's on the basis of that answer that I find my motivation.
Brando reportedly was not amused by it and never liked Burt Reynolds.
I think he is. I think it's Burt Reynolds.
That's one of the reasons we're doing
Don't
this.
say that name around me.
You not like him?
He is the epitome of something that makes me want to throw up.
He's a nice guy.
He is?
You want to come in here?
Fred Roos cast John Cazale after seeing him in an off-Broadway play called Life, which co-starred Richard Dreyfuss. Roos recalled that they were looking for a Fredo at the time. He had no idea who John Cazale was, and he knocked him out. The first chance he got, he brought him in and said, "Francis, this is Fredo. We don't need to look any further. This is the guy." For the role of Tom Hagen, Jerry Van Dyke, Bruce Dern, Steve McQueen, Paul Newman, and James Caan were all auditioned. For the role of Kay Adams, Jill Clayburgh, Susan Blakely, Sybil Shepherd, and Michelle Phillips screen tested for the role. Francis Ford Coppola also considered actresses Anne Archer, Karen Black, Genevieve Bujold, Julie Christie, Jennifer O'Neill, Mia Farrow, Ally McGraw, Jennifer Salt, and Blythe Danner. A very young Sylvester Stallone auditioned for the roles of Paulie and Carlo, and Abe Vigoda got the part of Tessio by answering an open casting call and beating out hundreds of other actors. For the role of Apollonia, Olivia Hussey was considered. The role went to Italian actress Simonetta Stefanelli. Despite appearing topless nude in the movie, she was only 16 years old during filming. Though Francis Ford Coppola wanted to portray Italians authentically, he cast many actors in the Corleone family who were not Italian. Marlon Brando was Dutch, James Caan was a German Jew, and Abe Vigoda was a Russian Jew. Marlon Brando wanted to make Don Corleone look like a bulldog, so he stuffed his cheeks with cotton wool for an audition. For the actual filming, he wore a mouthpiece made by a dentist. This appliance is on display at the American Museum of the Academy Museum of Motion Pictures in Los Angeles in a special Godfather exhibit. James Caan credits the stage persona of Don Rickles, the insult comic, for inspiring his characterization of Santino Corleone.
What did he say? What did he say? Bada-beep, bada-bap, bada-boop, bada-beep. He wants us to send Michael to hear the proposition.
De capo, de bande, de bende. Pupazzi, de bande, gumande, de bende.
Sterling Hayden wandered off the set between takes of the restaurant scene. He was found asleep by a river where children started throwing rocks at him.
I frisked him. He's clean.
Don't take too long.
I've frisked 1,000 young folks.
This film, taking place in the late 1940s and the early 1950s, has great attention to detail. Most of the cars in the movie have wooden bumpers. Bumpers were removed by car owners during World War II and replaced with wooden ones. The chrome was turned in to help with the war effort. After the war, it took several years for them to be replaced again with chrome. The film was originally planned with an intermission due to its 3-hour length. The intermission would have happened immediately after Michael murders Sollozzo and McCluskey, which explains the instrumental opera music that began playing when Michael flees the restaurant, as well as the ensuing newspaper montage, which would have been the first scene after the intermission. Coppola thought that it would slow down the pace of the movie, and there was never an intermission in The Godfather. In spite of Mario Puzo's denials and insistence that the novel is a work of fiction, it is generally thought that the Godfather character of Johnny Fontaine is based off of Frank Sinatra. Fontaine is a popular singer who owes his career to Don Corleone and the mob. In The Godfather, Fontaine begs Don Corleone to help him get a part in a war movie that could resurrect his floundering career.
Godfather, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do.
You can act like a man! What's the matter with you? Is this how you turn out a Hollywood Pinocchio that cries like a woman? What can I do? What can I do?
It is believed that this could be influenced by Frank Sinatra getting a part in 1953's From Here to Eternity, which won him the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. Sinatra took very grave offense to Fontaine's character in The Godfather, and he thought it was a shot at him. Animal rights activists protest the horse head scene. For the film's shot, a real horse's head was used, acquired from a dog food factory. Francis Ford Coppola once told Variety magazine, "There are many people killed in the movie, but everybody worries about the horse. When the head arrived, everybody got upset, all these animal lovers who like little doggies. What they don't know is that we got the head from a pet food manufacturer who slaughters 200 horses a day to feed their little doggies." Upon its release on March 15, 1972, The Godfather grossed a worldwide total of $142 million, which made it, at the time, the highest-grossing film in history, beating out the previous record holder, Gone with the Wind. At the 45th Academy Awards on March 27, 1973, The Godfather went on to win Best Picture, Best Actor for Marlon Brando, and Best Screenplay. Al Pacino, James Caan, and Robert Duvall were all nominated for Best Supporting Actor. This was the first of 4 years in a row that Al Pacino was nominated for an Acting Academy Award. He was nominated for this movie from 1972. He was nominated for Serpico in 1973. He was nominated for The Godfather Part 2 in 1974. And he was nominated for Dog Day Afternoon in 1975. When Marlon Brando won the Best Actor Oscar for this movie, he sent Sacheen Littlefeather, born Marie-Louise Cruz, to represent him at the awards ceremony. The presenters of the award were Roger Moore and Liv Ullmann. When Moore offered the statuette to Littlefeather, she snubbed him and proceeded with a speech about the film industry's mistreatment of Native Americans.
That he very regretfully cannot accept this very generous award. And the reasons for this being are the treatment of American Indians today by the film industry. Excuse me.
After her speech, Clint Eastwood had some thoughts of his own.
I don't know if I should present this award on behalf of all the cowboys shot in all the John Ford westerns over the years.
In 1974, this movie premiered on the NBC television network over 2 nights, November 16th and November 18th of 1974, from 9 to 11 p.m. On both nights at 11 p.m., New York City's municipal water authorities had overflow problems from all of the toilets flushing simultaneously. In 1990, this film was selected for the National Film Registry by the Library of Congress for being culturally, aesthetically, and historically significant to American history. This is a remarkable film, and despite the long runtime of about 3 hours, it's actually quite easy to sit through, and not just on one occasion either. It's watchable over and over again. The acting is superb, the dialogue keeps you glued to the screen no matter how many times you've seen the movie, and it is spectacular, one of the greatest movies of all time. I highly recommend that if you haven't seen it yet, you watch The Godfather.